I would now like to invite to the podium Mr. Zukana. Mr. Zukana is UN Under-Secretary for Economic and Social Affairs, who is also the Secretary General of the United Nations Conference on Sustainable Development, otherwise known as Rio+20. Mr. Zukana will deliver a message from the Secretary General of the United Nations, Ban Ki-moon, and after he's spoken, the rest of the discussions will be from the seats. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Excellency President, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the United Nations Secretary General, Mr. Ban Ki-moon, I'm honored to extend our warm congratulations on the convening of the 2012 Astanинский Economic Forum. We would like to thank the organizers for setting up an enriching program featuring a number of critical social and economic issues facing policymakers today. These issues are at the core of the agenda of the United Nations. Secretary General Ban Ki-moon sends his warmest greetings to the forum participants. I'm very pleased to read his message to you. I quote, "Over the past 5 years, the Astanинский Economic Forum has become an important gathering for discussing key economic issues and practical steps to enhance and expand international cooperation. Bringing together global participants from government, academia, business, and culture, the forum offers opportunity for constructive dialogue among major groups working on economic development. This is a time of great challenge and transition. Our world faces an increasingly complex set of realities, from rising joblessness to growing inequality to the increasing dangers of climate change. Many people are disillusioned with the established order. There is distrust in institutions and a general sense that the playing field is tilted in favor of entrenched interests and elites. We need to forge a common agenda that can help build a world of sustainable peace, prosperity, freedom, and justice. The international community has a vital opportunity next month when leaders gather in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil for the United Nations Conference on Sustainable Development. Meeting the demands ahead will require all our creativity and commitment. By the year 2030, the world will need at least 50% more food, 45% more energy, 30% more water, and many millions more decent jobs. These and other challenges are linked. We need to start connecting the dots in our policies and our programs. Quite simply, we need a revolution in our thinking about the foundations of dynamic growth and the well-being of future generations. The Rio Conference is our opportunity to set out a new paradigm for growth, building on what works, discarding what doesn't. I encourage all of you gathering in Astana to work for solutions that can help make our collective efforts a success. As you deliberate on solutions and steps forward for our common future, I wish you a fruitful exchange of ideas. End of quote. This is the message of His Excellency, the Secretary General of Ban Ki-moon. It is now my pleasure to share a few words with you in my capacity as Under-Secretary General for Economic and Social Affairs and as Secretary General of the United Nations Conference for Sustainable Development. Excellencies, we are meeting at a critical juncture of the world economy. Almost 4 years after the global financial crisis, we are still not out of the woods. And major weaknesses, especially in developed economies, are causing new setbacks. In many developed economies, the risks remain high for another recession. Developing countries are also facing a significant economic slowdown. At the top of policymakers' agenda is the public debt problem in numerous developed economies, notably in Europe at the moment. But this is only one dimension of a much broader challenge. Restoring economic growth is important, but it is not enough. We need a recovery that can deal with the global job crisis, accelerate the progress in poverty reduction, and ensure that economic progress is socially and environmentally sustainable. It is time for change. We must do business differently. First, there is a pressing need to achieve growth that creates jobs. Attacking the job crisis head-on is critical for the economic recovery. High unemployment rates in Europe and the United States of near 10% are holding back the recovery, not only in those regions, but in the world at large. In some developed and developing countries, unemployment rates have increased to over 20%. That's at least one of every 5 persons out of work. Addressing this situation should be a top priority of policymakers, and we should be deeply concerned about the social consequences. We are not only talking about a severe economic toll, we are talking about potentially grave consequences for the social fabrics of countries. Second, there is the overarching challenge to make growth environmentally sustainable. In many respects, pressures on natural resources and the environment have reached tipping points. We are moving to a point of no return on climate change. At the same time, more than 1 billion people lack access to food, electricity, or safe drinking water. Gaps between rich and poor in resource consumption are widening. The message should be clear. The existing model of economic growth has been pushing the Earth's capacity to extreme limits. If such trends continue, we will need several planets to support this unsustainable consumption patterns. It is not viable. It is not sustainable, socially, environmentally, nor economically. We cannot continue along the trodden pathways. We need transformative changes in our economy. Third, we should deploy more financial resources to help developing countries, especially the least developed countries, and seize the opportunities of sustainable development. In a world confronted with the increasingly interlinked challenges on the social, economic, and environmental fronts, development cooperation must change. It needs to be designed and delivered differently, centered on poverty eradication. Aid allocations should reflect a balanced concern for the 3 pillars of sustainable development. Instead of restricting trade, development aid should facilitate trade and improve access to markets for products of developing countries. If rooted in sustainable development, development cooperation will empower recipients, enable women entrepreneurs, and inspire our youth to dare to dream of a better future, a future they want. At the same time, however, because of fiscal austerity, many donor countries have cut development assistance. Aid flows have dropped in recent years. needed fiscal adjustments should not be taken at the cost of development. We should make fundamental changes in the development finance architecture, securing adequate and predictable financing for sustainable development. At Rio+20, green economy in the context of sustainable development and poverty eradication is at the center of the agenda. One adapted to national circumstances, supported by international cooperation in means of implementation, green economy can be an effective tool for achieving sustainable development. Rio+20 is an opportunity for the world community to come together in a new pact for transformative change. Excellencies, with its broad and yet linked agenda, and with its diverse participants, this forum offers a great opportunity for exploring a new paradigm for managing our economic growth, one that is socially and environmentally as well as fiscally sustainable. I look forward to the policy dialogue at this forum and the inputs of the many prominent thinkers and policymakers who are gathered here. I have high expectations of your deliberations, that indeed they will contribute to the true solution and a better future for all. Thank you very much.
Thank you.